Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Let's talk about how work-life balance keeps most people poor. So you'd think that a lot of people would be privy to the fact that working 40 hours and living paycheck to paycheck, right? Over consuming, just doing like the normal average Joe stuff when it comes to their finances. You'd think most people would catch on and be like, wow, year after year of doing this, that they'd probably be not able to retire, right? Or not able to pay off some loans, pay off some debt, or, let's say they don't have debt, let's say they don't have any loans, acquire assets to build wealth, right? You'd think that most people would be able to catch on to that, right? At a younger age or at a sooner age than most people get ready for when it comes to like retirement. But most people, when we talk about work-life balance, right, are so dissatisfied with the 40-hour work week that anything that's not that 40 hours, anything that's not that 9 to 5 job is seen as like, what can I do to enjoy life? What can I do to feel some relief from this terrible lifestyle where I'm going to work and doing things I don't like, working with people I don't like, right? Working for a boss, et cetera, right? So let's talk about that, right? In life, guys, work-life balance is not, you're not gonna have balance in life, right? When it comes to escaping the rat race, building wealth, having more opportunity for yourself, you're not gonna be able to escape the rat race by having balance. So let's talk about that a little bit. What is balance? Let's talk about that fundamental, let's talk about what the fundamental meaning to balance is. Balance, you know what that is? Think of yourself on a bike, right? When you were a kid and you're on that bike, right? You're learning how to ride. You don't know how to ride a bike, right? So you're riding the bike, you're going along, and then you stumble to the left a little bit, right? Or you stumble, you're about to fall, and then you go back, right? That is what balance is. So when you're getting to an extreme point, right? When you're getting to a point where you're like working, 60 hours a week, or in the analogy I use, like in the bike scenario, you're about to fall, right? That coming back is the balance, right? You're coming back to balance so that you can continue to go forward. Because you can't, if you're like almost about to fall, right? It's going to be hard to go straight, right? Because you're about to fall, you're off balance. So let's talk about how that can relate to your finances and work and a job. When you're working 70 hour weeks, whether it's 2 jobs, whether you're studying in your off time, whether you're learning a skill, whatever, the balance is, hey, I just worked 70 hours this week. Let me hang out with my girlfriend for 4 hours Friday night. Let's go out to eat. Let's grab some drinks, right? Whatever. Or let me go over to my mom's house, let me go over to my dad's house, let me say what's up, let me watch the game, right? That's what balance is. Balance just keeps you sane, or balance in the sense, it can be different for some people. Some people consider balance like getting enough sleep, or being able to like go for a walk one day, right? So balance is also different to other people. But I think it's safe to say, right, that most people don't live like a work-life balance, right? Their work, right? There's nothing they balance out. They're not even working enough to have balance. You get what I'm saying? Balance is how I perceive it, is you being extreme, right? We're working hard, and then whether it's sleep, whether it's time with friends, whether it's time alone, resetting to that center point so you can move forward at a better rate, right? With more intensity. So a lot of people, when it comes to life, right, don't have that. Right? They feel like they're balancing themselves, but what they're really doing is they're escaping, right? Think of all these people every single day, right, who overconsume, right? They feel like they need to buy something all the time. That's not balance, right? Or they feel like they need to hang out. They feel like they need to watch a sports game every single day, right? Or play video games every day, or drink every day. That's not balance. So guys, in life, I've been working 2 jobs, working side hustles for the past 3 years, working overtime for the past 3 years. And I don't necessarily feel like I'm missing out on a lot, right? Like my wealth is increasing, like my money is increasing, my investment portfolios are increasing. Like I'm building myself to a point where, you know, in the next 5 years, I may or may not have to keep working, right? So, and I would consider myself not living that work-life balance, but I still enjoy life. I still spend time with my girlfriend. I still spend time with my parents. I still kick it with the boys here and there, right? But I'm not out here like wasting my money. I'm not out here doing stupid shit like that. So, guys, you have to look at life like this, right? Let's paint a scenario. When does the average person retire? 62, right? They have their 401, their pension, and they collect social, right? That's typically how it goes. Imagine this. Imagine you spent the next, let's say you're 20. Let's say you spent the next 10 years. Let's say you spent 20 to 30, right? Building your, or working 2 jobs, right? Being out of balance, right? You could come back to balance in the sense that, hey, let's say you quit your job, right? Now let's say you're working remotely, right? At age 30, you have a bunch of money sitting in assets and you have passive income coming in through real estate or whatever. Now you can live a balanced life because you were off balance for 10 years in a sense, right? So there's always a coming back to balance. It's just about you picking the time frame in your life, picking a 5 or 10 year window where you want to go extreme so that the rest of it can be smooth sailing, right? Think of most people. Let's talk about the 40-hour work week again. The 40-hour work week, most people try to live a balanced life week to week, but they don't realize that balanced life that they're living week to week, right, is not, they're gonna live that life forever, because to be separate in the sense that you're rich, to be separate in the sense that you're different from other people, implies that you have to do what other people are not willing to do. So if the average person, right, is unwilling to work 60-hour weeks, is unwilling to learn, is unwilling to invest, is unwilling to say no to things and people that don't align with their goals and their dreams and their aspirations, right, financially, then you would assume that, okay, that person's probably not going to be able to retire till the average age of 60, right? But if you're someone who's wiser and someone who wants to live a fulfilling life, right, for the majority of their life, right, you would look and say, hey, okay, I'm 20 right now, but look, if I want to live the rest of my days, you know, more smoothly and have more choice and have more abundance and freedom, right, then it would be wise for me from age 20 to age 30, right, to work 60, 70, 80-hour weeks, right? And obviously that's going to involve different things over time, right? But we're talking about a general way of going about things, right? And guess what? Those 10 years, that's a deal, because guess what? Those 10 years, yeah, you may have missed out on certain things. Maybe you were tired a lot. Maybe you lost some sleep here and there. But guess what? Now, from the age of 30 to 80 or 90, you're not worried about stupid things, the prices of eggs, the prices of this, the prices of that, right? Rich people don't worry about prices of eggs and goods and shit like that, right? That's what poor people worry about, right? So yeah, I mean, it sucks, but a lot of times, you know, it's in your control of how you operate in this 3D dimension when it comes to work, money, and investing. So I'm just kind of trying to paint a picture for you so you can kind of internalize it and see how it can work out for you in your life. And you know, I hope that all of you guys, you know, who watch these videos that I'm talking about are really taking in what I'm saying and seeing how it's true, right? I work, right? I'm an employee, right? I'm in the race, just, you know, alongside with you guys, right? And I'm sure you guys are frustrated with bosses. You're frustrated with people complaining. You're frustrated by the customers you're with, or people complaining about goods and services and prices of this, prices of that, right? Well, hey, guess what? You don't have to be part of that, right? I know everyone's complaining about it. I know everyone is upset and frustrated, and I totally understand, right? But you have so much opportunity now that reality, it belongs to them, right? You have to separate yourself from things that you don't want to be like, right? So whenever, you know, you hear people say to you, oh, this is too expensive, I can't afford that, separate yourself from that, right? Immediately recognize, okay, that doesn't have to be me, right? And if you live out of balance, right, for, you know, 5 or 10 years, right, and you do the things that I talk about in my videos, right, then you won't have to be in that concoction of misery, suffering, and like just a mediocre group of people, low IQ human beings. You don't have to be succumb to dealing with that on a daily basis. So anyways, guys, that's it. That's all. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. If you guys have any questions, comments, feel free to leave them down below. And as always, I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.